Why, hello there. Let's make sure everything is happy. That's good. Get this pulled out a little. There we go. That's better. I think we are pretty Gucci there. This needs to be changed though. And this as well. Alrighty. And then, one sec. Get all cozy and comfy and squared away. There we go. All right, so what are we going to do today? We're going to finish this up. So we had done the testing for loading. And if memory serves, this is broken because the map controller doesn't actually turn it down a little. Yeah, it's got a null connection. So that is a full dummy map config now. And we are coming through here. Oh yeah, that's right. I had this. My day spent doing not this has caused me to forget that we have a crazy problem in here. Our problem being that this guy was just annoying me there, so we'll do that. This guy returns 0 instead of -2, which is deeply confusing to me. And it makes me wonder if there's some kind of weirdness in the type where like there shouldn't be, but none of that is relevant to this. We do the current minus like that's completely redundant. That shouldn't change anything at all. Yeah. If we were to do this c.y if we were to do this, what would happen? Out of curiosity. It would still be 0. But why? What's going on here? Come into here. This is -1. So -1 minus minus. Oh, because it's a minus. I'm dumb. Is that to be expected, though? Yes, it is. I don't know how I overlooked that. I'm just going to back this up. Because it's minus a -1. Math. Math strikes again. And then y is 2. Because it's a -2. Yeah, we can leave that in there as a good test. Let's do... We already added a negative. Let's actually just fix this in the whole file. Ah, whoops. It's really only in here. I could just add it, but oh, I totally messed that up, didn't I? Oops. Okay. Well, I'm glad I didn't keep staring at that last night when I was tired. I still feel like a little bit of an idiot, but you know, such is the way. Okay. I think that's good for the coordinates. And actually, this will just be easier if I put this back really quick, because we need to do... Where am I? We need to do a commit for this. The add rights for addition and subtraction to coordinates. And then, oops, that can come back out. Okay, so that was added in service of us being able to, in map controller, or in the test, right? Yes, because we're going to need to go through we were working on check tile neighbor. So neighbor coordinate. And then here we create you. We subtract. We gotta be careful here. We want to add, always, I think. Because if it's negative, we want to add the negative, which will be subtracting. And then we do... This is for the west one, so we want to do... Oh, we need to have... Do we want to do it this way? Or no, that's or we need to do it this way. Just for example, I would need to say plus north, or in this case it'd be west. Yeah, I'm okay with that, I think. That. Be that. That. Missed a character, there we go. South and then west to be -1, 1. West. Y0. Northwest. Like so. Okay, so then this would become plus west, and then east is not, no, we need another block here. For east. Like that, okay. This should cover... that's not this test. Our connections when we populate them for horizontal. So let's test that theory. We need to do lib this one. Add consts for the cardinal directions. Okay. Now, this we need to clean up. We need to go through our connections. And how do I want to split them out? This part is still right. Oop. This part's still correct. We just need to loop through. That's fine. That part. We only do that if you have your data. Delta of origin to destination. Why was I doing that? Because destination minus origin is going to wind up giving us the cardinal. So I was thinking, okay. Oops. Could do that now, which is nice. But is it sufficient to multiply by 2? We did that up there. So let's say this was in 1, 1, and we subtract, and let's just say it's 0, 1. So we subtract 1, 1 minus 0, 1. So that gives us 1, which is not quite correct. But we also have, we can get vector 2. We could do we can do this now. Oh, that gets me a direction. This should be called, oop. That should be called direction 2. We should, though, have a vector 2. And it looks the same, except... it'll return our actual coordinates. These should all be that. We should duplicate them and then make them a vector 2 test. We do that. We do that. We might have to override this, but that's fine if we do. Because by default, I think it's going to want to just compare instances. But that should also be fine, actually, in this case. Ah, right. That is also important. I'm going to fix that as well. Easy enough to do. Get my vectors. All squared away. Just like so. Okay, that should work. Perfect. Okay, now let's commit that really quick, actually. We'll add that. We'll add connection model, and then that name or move or to that returns a direction to implement a real vector to helper. Do that. I think I'm also going to have broken stuff. Not you. Tests. Broken tests for connection model. No. Oh, because we did the X and the Y. Okay, we didn't use any direction 2s in there. Okay. Vector 2. So we have that, and then we can say, this gets again into where, how do I want to track these guys? Because their coordinates are accurate in the world. They're not accurate in this map. And I'm going to have to update them eventually anyway. So I'm thinking that we build a map, UID value to coordinate. Do I want to do that? When we save data, we're going to have to rewrite the file anyway. Because write truncates. And we don't want it to append anyway. So yeah, I think that's fine. We'd have to also do... Hey there, new viewer. Hello. Just wondering, what do you mean by mud as in the? Mud as in the. Suspect you hit enter. Multiplayer text-based engine? Yes. Yes, I do. This, however, is the editor I'm working on. But we would have to do the same thing for connection data. Oh, that'd still be coordinates, though. If we did that, then we know where in the list they go. Sorry, my keyboard's kind of jittery. Nice. No worries. But our map... the model to JSON. We need to go through and build tiles and connections. And because we don't actually store the model once we load you, you're like an intermediate data struct, right? Unless we did store the model. But because you are just a list, we still got to go through you anyway to update you. So do we do something like this, or do I just map you directly to room datas? I think I have to put you in the list of objects for the sake of sanity, because we need to update those to get them to show in the UI. And then when we go through, when we say save, we need to generate the lists and then just write them to the file, I think. Because we go through and we marshal them all. Yeah, probably. And I'm not going to save just yet, but I want this to ideally be something that both could use. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, that this is the correct thing I want to do. But that also still gives me a problem, because I would have to go through here to figure out where this guy lives. Or would I? I could actually go based on the origin, I think. Vector 2. Destination. Does this work with other stuff? As long as we guarded it correctly, I think it does. Because we have the notion of like a magic teleporter connection, but we haven't actually used or built any just yet. It is something we do need to do. But those aren't going to get displayed in these connection tiles anyway. So I think we might be okay here. We just need to make sure. What if we did... What if we did something where we do, what if we switched on the vector here? And then, yeah, what if I did... Let's get rid of that real quick. Where do you come from? That's where you come from. And if we did like that, if I did this, but I still don't have Eura connection data. I only have coordinates for your origin and destination. But in theory, because I've put this guy here and here, it's always multiplied by 2 because of the offset. Then I can say, so if you're east, then I would say map, which can't be null. Well, hang on. I would need to say do I want to do that? Origin times 2. And I would need to do an override for multiplication, which is fine. And then I would need to add. This would actually be the vector. Can I do no, I can't. Unless there's a different syntax for it. Dart create variable as part of switch case. It's very interesting. Back in January, I made a little Python script to communicate to a render server like a little chat room. Cool. With that knowledge, I could make a little online game probably. Yeah, kind of. It quickly, you realize you quickly need a lot more bits and pieces, but that is kind of the base kernel of it. Yeah. think I'm allowed to do this in Dart. I don't know if I want to do it this way. But the alternative gets ugly because I don't have an ID for the origin and destination. And I also need to be careful when I update these, I update them on the tile that actually holds them. Because the parent rooms are actually what hold the reference to the connections. The IDs of them. The other option, I guess, is that I store the connections first, and then as I'm placing these, as part of this initialization, I could build that up. Actually, no, it wouldn't be there. This is just to initialize that. Yeah. Yeah, let's initialize the map. And instead of doing this, I can make a map for that. That's no problem. But updating it is still problematic. Unless actually, because it's a connection data object, I might still get away with that. Let's try it. Let's still try it. So after we do that, we read and store the connections. So here, actually, let's just guard it first. Connections aren't null. Aren't empty. Connection data. Connection in. Connections. Which you can't be null if we're here. Nor could you. You can't be null at all here because... Oh, I've got... Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that's the data file. Yeah, that's fine. That's why you can't be null. Okay, so we go through here, and we say that connection locations at connection.uuid toString equals, and UUIDs are not allowed to be null. Actually, I guess... like it could be if it was malformed, but we need to be careful here. Is that... All right, I don't have to string you because we did that. You can't be null. So here we need to do a check. To make sure our UUID isn't null for some reason. Unless there's a way that we could do... Right, we did that because if it parses wrong or it's invalid, it would end up being null. That's why we did that. So this would also be a candidate for actually how do we want to handle that? I'm thinking I want warnings to come out. But a bad UUID for a connection is really going to be broken. Because if it has a bad UUID, nothing could have referenced it. Well, it could have, it wouldn't be valid at all. We're going to probably want to also check and somehow display any orphaned connections in some way, shape, or form. But we can say, if you are null, then we do something. Otherwise, add an error, throw an exception, is for sure not good. How do we fail gracefully? We'll kick the can down the road on that a little bit. Okay. Otherwise, it's good or it's not null. We set that to that. Okay, perfect. So now that we have that, when we come through here and we do this, we can set that. We can also say that room locations at the tile data UUID can't be null, and neither can room locations at this point. That also equals tile data. Did I put... Oh yeah, your coordinates still. Room data. Part of loading the map, we need to create a nice new blank space for things to live in. Like so. Then we put you in there. And then here, we can say this is actually not. It's a string. No. In the connections, right? But you can't be null. But if we actually we can guard it like so. That way we just skip this thing. If for some reason we don't have one, we don't have to do the extra work. We do still need that though. Okay. So then we can come through here. And is this where I switch on the vector? I think it is. And I'm going to store, actually, just going to do this. And we can immediately use them. Like so. So we're going to use them here. And I'm pretty sure this is where I want to do. First I need to go. This is my connection locations. Connection ID. You're still not null. Oh, nullable, right. Do I need to do that? I do. If you're null, continue, we're done here. Otherwise, now we can switch on this connection, origin, vector2, this connection, destination. Okay. Just gonna grab this, remove the duplicate. All of this could then go in the trash. I'm pretty sure. That way we don't have to do this once. And we're set up to test west and east, so we'll start there. So if it's east, then as we see connection location, you are location. Well, no, because I need maybe instead of this, I want to do yeah. This location, y times 2, like so. Get rid of that. You go there. You go there. Then I can just directly say offset location plus east. And then here, if the map can't be null at connection location X, connection location Y is horizontal connection tile. Or can I negate that? There's no is not, right? No. Okay, so if you is a horizontal connection tile, then life is Gucci. We can say, well, actually we should say this. And then that. So we have an easy, nice way to look at it. If you are east connection equals tile, not tile data, this connection. Okay. We do the same thing for west. We also need to account for else to do port errors here. Don't know how I want to handle that yet either. Do the same thing here. Port errors here. This needs to be west. That is all. This is west, but that's all. The rest of that's good. Okay, I think That gets us a working test, I hope. Where are you? That's not you. Here you are. Okay, not quite. You. -1. Connection location, offset location plus west. I've boogered something up right here. So our connection location is -10, which is wrong. Offset location is 00. Ah. Well, if you're 00, you shouldn't have a west. You have 3 connections. I might have boogered up the data. 100% possible. Let's go check that, I guess. So this should be east, southeast, south. So we go here. You should have been up top. See this. Okay. Origin is 000. Destination is, so you are to the east. And you are 7BF, whatever. This connection, okay, so you're not that. You're 5'9" something. You're this one. This is the one I need to look at, actually. Okay. You go 00. You're supposed to be southeast, which is 1 for east. And 1 further south. But offset location plus, how did you get west out of? What is this connection? Dot origin vector to destination 1, 1. That's correct. This connection origin, vector 2, this connection destination. That's correct. Origin, destination. How the hell did I end up? Oh, is it because these guys aren't filled in? Just for the hells of it. No. Don't think so anyway. Oh. It actually broke on the wrong, or a different spot that time, I think. Hang on. Stop. Stop. Where did you fail? You failed there. When I uncomment this, just to test. So 83.25 the first time. 93.20. Okay. So that did change a thing. I bet you these cases are falling through because I haven't filled them in yet. If we comment out the ones we're not using, then we get much, much closer. Okay. We expect this to be true. This is not great output. We need to fix that up. This should be... state of tiles, UUID equal to the neighbor UUID to string the neighbor being... So it was a room tile, but we didn't find... tile data. Connection ID, target ID. So we didn't find, when we get down here, reason is well, to find connection. Ugh. Make sure we do that. Connection ID of, which is this tile. Oops. .uuid, which needs to be in there. You can't be null. Wait. Horizontal connection tile doesn't have a UUID? Oh, right. Do we gain anything from putting that in there other than this? Target ID. Oh, it'd be the West connection UUID. Unable to have connection ID to the west of coordinate is IJ. Double check our message here. Makes sense. It should actually be in the tile to the west of 10. And we want to make sure, we also want to give a reason to this one. To the west of 10. So that should be a 00. And here we do in fact not find 3F whatever here. Who is you? You should be on 10. You are 10 to 00, so you're backwards. Did I mess up? Plus west, plus east. And we go through them differently there. I need to figure out Why did you get put into the west connection? Offset location plus the east. Because this is backwards. I think. Okay, so I did pass that case and came to a different issue. Okay. Except if I'm here. How did I lay that out? I need to double check. Not client old. Editor old. The old and busted editor here. We can't open test map. We need to open server map. It'll be fine though. Oop. Server map is broken? That's very not good. I don't think I can open you. I can't open you still. Okay. So east connection from 2.1 to 3.1. So it's a connection that goes to the east. So if the connection location or if the vector 2 is east, that should be the east connection. So I had it correct. From the west to the east. Right? That does make sense. From 2.1 to 3.1. Yeah. And if I did origin vector 2, that would put me into east. Offset location plus east. This is wrong. No, that's correct too. Because if it's west, I'll pick that up when I go over to, in this case, 3.1. I'll say, oh, hey, I've got a connection to the west. I need to put that into the connection tile that is west of me. That's correct. That's correct. Okay. So why is this flipped? So if I'm looking at it when I get here and I say, okay, I have an east connection because I need to look the other side. East connection would have lived to the west of me. This. And I need to make myself a note. This is opposite because the tile holding this connection is west, or rather east. The connection goes west. Wait, this one is west, connection goes east. Okay. 1, 2 has a null east connection. That's to be expected in a case, because we're at 1, 2. No, that's not expected. This is why we're doing this testing instead of doing it live, or you know, in while we're trying to do a UI for it. Why does 1, 2? That's actually not the end because we're doubled, so it's actually 0 to 6. Has a null east connection. So we are over 1. Down 2. This should actually be 0, 1, 0, 1, 2. Yeah, that should be horizontal. That should be 0, 1. Is there a way for me to tell for myself? Should it be this? Should be 2, 2. Oh yeah, well duh. Of course it should be. But that's actually going to be my visual UI, not the... That'll be the UI coordinates, not the actual map coordinate. I don't think there's a way for me to determine in a better way to spit out. Am I building a game or something? Yeah, it's an editor. Editor for the engine. For the map file right now. I don't think there's a way for me to determine, for UI purposes, what I should be connected to. I know that it shouldn't be null. I can do... Can't do... I don't have IDs in there, and I don't know if I want them yet. What would I do instead? I think it might just be pain. How do I tell which one to look at? I do have to figure out a way to look at something. Otherwise, it's going to be impossible to diagnose the test failure. We know that null is bad. Can we just say... I think we're boundary safe here. Because of where these tiles live. If I did that... Oh, that would be a vertical? Oh, no, because I'm horizontal, it would be I plus 1j. Yeah. And we need to do this same thing for this guy. But this would actually be -1. Okay. So it should be a connection to, and now I think we can figure out where in the test data it would live, because now we have the ID that I should be connected to. Oops. You would be here. Unfortunately, I have to then go figure out I think it would be one of the last couple. Here we go. From the east to the west. So if I'm at 1, 1, which is where this tile is, and I'm going to 0, 1, that is to the west. That seems correct. You are a horizontal connection tile. Should be the one going east. East connection is this connection. We have the target tile. That's good. It's east, so we move east. And we say our east connection is this connection. What did I miss? Location X, location Y. Offset plus east. but it's working on other things because we get all the way down to 1, 2, which implies that 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, all those guys were correct. That really points to some kind of malformed data. Origin is 1, 1, destination is 0, 1. Well, that'd be to the west. So I would need to find... from 0, 1 to 1, 1. Or no. 0, 2. Wait. 1, 1 to 0, 1, right, because the offset. So yeah, it'd be 0, 1 to 1, 1. One, 2. And it'd be 2, 0, 1, 0, 2. Wait a second. This is not the correct coordinate. That's why. So if I'm trying to go from 1, 1 to the east, or to the west rather, no, that would be right, because the y doesn't change. So where's my 0, 1? To the east. That's what I did. Y doesn't change. That changes. There we go. All right. Woohoo! East-west test passing. All right. Let's... we're done with that for now. Oh wait, why did my config server JSON get changed? Hang on a second. Don't want that now, do we? My... server config. Oh, somehow it tried to write that when it crashed, it tried to write. It's a very good thing this is in source control. Roll that back, please. How the hell did that get changed? That's the main server config. That shouldn't have been weird. Let's fix that up. There we go. Implement and test connection tiles east, west. Now, we need to do the same thing for the other directions. Let's get... Okay, we've got our horizontal stuff. The next one we come to is vertical, so let's do that. We're going to basically want all of this, and we'll just modify it for vertical. We'll do all that before we increment the count. This guy... there we go. North connection, not null. Vertical. North. Which would be, I doesn't change, it'd be J minus 1. This is south. Connection goes north, south, north. Connection ID north to the south. South connection. Vertical. South. Which would be J. Boop, 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 boop. J plus 1. I also want to double check that I made sure to fix up this. Because of the flippy floppiness there. Okay. Go back down here to what I was doing. I want to check south connection UUID. South connection UUID in the tile to the north. North. South. North. Okay. I think that gets us those. This is going to fail because we haven't implemented that part yet. Good. Over here in the map file, if you are north, we're basically going to do everything we do here, except it'll be offset location plus north. Da, 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 da. You should be a vertical connection tile. North connection is this. Otherwise, if it is south, we do the same thing. South. You should still be vertical. And then south. Like so. Beautiful. Gate. How about get? And then you are implement and test connection tiles north south. Beautiful. Okay. We are Rolling right along. Now, the diagonals are going to have to be both diagonals, which kind of sucks, but I think we can power through. We'll need all of this again, basically. We still do that, and then we come in here. We're going to actually need to do this twice. We won't need to do that. Once should be quite sufficient for that one, but the rest of it, diagonal connection tile. Now, you need to be northwest connection. Let's actually do northeast. Well, no, because this will be easier. I want to just go ahead and change all of these like so. Northwest connection, which should be, so I to the west is still -1 and J -1 to go up. Should be that. Do that. This is northeast. Northeast. Connection goes. Wait. This should be southeast. And then you northwest connection. To the southeast of, there we go. Now, we can do southeast. Northwest, southeast. Yes. This location is, if we're doing southeast, northwest, southeast, northwest, southeast. If I haven't completely screwed that up. Southeast to the in the tile to the northwest of. I fixed you up. No. Southeast should be I +1, J +1. Southwest. No. Southwest should be, okay, if we're southwesting, I is -1 and then J is +1. Is northeast, southwest, northeast, southwest, connection ID, southwest in the tile to the northeast. If we're going, no, we don't need to do that there. Okay. And then this is finally southeast. So we did northwest and southeast, and then we did southeast, southwest. Northwest? No, northeast. Northeast is what I'm missing. Northeast. Northeast. If we're going northeast, we're I +1 and J -1. This is southwest. goes northeast, southwest, northeast, find connection ID, northeast connection to the southwest of. Boop. There we go. Okay. We also need to do you over here. This is also going to be pretty similar, except for different. Northeast. Northeast. You should be then a diagonal connection tile. If you are, northeast connection is this connection. Southeast, you should be diagonal. Southeast, you. Southwest. Southwest. Last one. I think it's the last one anyway. Northwest. Northwest. Okay. Double check here. North, northeast, east, southeast, south, southwest, west, northwest. Okay, I think we're good. We're good. Awesome. Unless there's bugs hiding. Could be. That's good. That off. Mint and test connection tiles south, east, northwest, southwest, northeast. Okay. Now, that should be the display work for the map structure. We'll have to do saving stuff still, but that should be loading handled into the struct for the UI. And that's where I'm going to call it for tonight, because it's getting a little late. I'm going to go to bed. But if you like this kind of thing, I do it for 4 days a week for roughly 2 hours or so a night. So, and starting on Friday and ending on tonight. So if you like this kind of thing, come back again Friday and I should be doing more of it. I'd love to see you again. If not, you guys have yourselves a great week anyway, and I